Lisa was an extraordinary woman with a heart full of dreams and a determination fueled by love for her children. Each morning began with the sound of her alarm ringing earlier than the sun, rousing her from sleep just long enough to prepare for another day of balancing multiple jobs. By the time she sipped her first cup of coffee, she had already packed lunches, dealt with stubborn homework, and dashed out the door. A single mom in a bustling city, Lisa often found herself in a race against time. Her days were filled with bus rides, late shifts at a local diner, and evenings spent cleaning offices to make ends meet. Yet, despite the grind, there was an undeniable light in her eyes. She dreamed of a better future not only for herself but especially for her children. Her aspiration was to secure a stable job, one that could offer more than just enough to pay the bills. As she navigated through life's challenges, Lisa wore every role she took on with pride. She was not just an employee. She was their cheerleader, their storyteller at bedtime, and their gentle guide through life's simple lessons. Every coin saved was a step closer to providing her kids with opportunities she never had. She longed for a job that would free them all from the constant worry about money. That particular day felt different. After countless applications and interviews that had led nowhere, Lisa had received a call that brought a hopeful flutter to her heart. A chance to interview at a prestigious corporate office. The position promised stability and benefits that could help elevate their living conditions significantly. With renewed vigor, she rummaged through her closet full of second-hand clothes she'd collected over the years. Each piece carried its own story but together resembled her journey. Resilient yet worn down by life's trials. Lisa chose a blouse that had seen better days but still fit her just right and paired it with neatly pressed trousers she found on sale months before. She brushed her hair back and looked at herself in the mirror, reminding herself of what brought her here. The potential to transform their life together. Arriving at the corporate office felt surreal. The building loomed above her, tall and imposing against the clear blue sky. As she stepped inside, skyscrapers of glass reflected the sunlight while polished floors shone beneath her feet. It was a far cry from her usual world, a world where luxury often implied judgment and disdain for those who didn't belong. Walking up to the reception desk filled Lisa's stomach with butterflies. Today was meant to be about hope. It was an opportunity she had fought hard to get, but also one where she felt small amidst elegance and high-tech decor. The receptionist glanced up from behind her pristine desk, quickly assessing Lisa's appearance in what felt like an instant judgment. It didn't take long before Lisa experienced crushing disappointment. The receptionist carelessly informed her that the position had been filled and even added that there would be no further opportunities available today. Confusion washed over Lisa as disbelief turned into despair. Just moments ago, she believed this moment could change everything for herself and her children. Before she could even process what was happening, security was ushering Lisa out of the building, while others sat in the lobby watching. All eyes seemed fixed on her like haywire spotlights under public scrutiny. Whispers trailed behind as laughter echoed through the air like daggers piercing her spirit, deepening a wound that felt too raw to bear. Once outside, all courage seemed to deflate from within her as tears threatened to spill down her cheeks. This moment represented so much more than denial. It symbolized every struggle she'd faced as they tried desperately to stay afloat in a world built on appearances. The next morning brought unexpected news that would ripple through corporate halls like wildfire. The CEO of the company, a man named Peter, had been raised in poverty himself and believed in lifting others up instead of casting them aside based on how they looked or where they came from. He made it his mission to create opportunities for those who fought tirelessly while facing similar obstacles. When an employee pointed out footage of Lisa's unjust dismissal caught on camera, her humiliation replaying like a tragic scene, Peter's heart surged with outrage. He swiftly canceled every meeting on his calendar that day, driven by both empathy and anger towards the treatment Lisa faced simply based on first impressions. Feeling inspired to make an impact beyond what might seem effective through policies alone, he shed his business persona momentarily brimming with ambition and instead adopted vulnerability as he took it upon himself to track Lisa down personally, intent on putting things right by offering something much more profound than just an ordinary job position. In this tale of resilience against adversity would emerge triumph as Peter extended not only an offer for employment but also an invitation, to join his newly formed equity board, aimed specifically at dismantling discrimination in hiring practices across all levels within their company and beyond. With every ounce of courage left within Lisa, along with newfound hope beginning to flicker once more, life as she knew would never be the same again, because today marked not only recognition of worthiness but sparked events geared towards meaningful change destined to benefit so many others just like her. An inspiring promise nestled securely within grasp once again in this journey called life. As the sun first peeked through the window, Lisa woke up with a flutter of excitement in her heart for what lay ahead. Today was not just any day. Today was the day of her big interview at a corporate office, the chance she had been waiting for. As she moved through her small apartment, the sweet smell of hope mingled with the lingering scent of her morning coffee. This was a pivotal moment in her life, and she wanted to seize it fully. After dealing with breakfast chaos, where cereal ended up spilled and voices echoed through the cramped space, Lisa made her way to her closet. It wasn't filled with designer clothes or trendy outfits. Instead, it held lovingly worn pieces collected over time, each telling a story of its own. She carefully rummaged through her wardrobe, knowing she needed to make a strong impression despite the reality of her financial struggles. Her eyes landed on a simple blouse, pale blue with tiny floral patterns, slightly frayed at the edges but still elegant enough for this occasion. The sleeves had just enough flair to frame her arms nicely, reminiscent of moments when she felt truly confident. Lisa paired it with dark trousers that hugged her waist perfectly. They weren't new or flashy, but they fit well and made her feel ready to face the world. Standing in front of the mirror, Lisa took a deep breath and adjusted her hair. She pulled it back into a neat bun, allowing a few strands to frame her face softly. Looking into the mirror, she whispered words of encouragement to herself. "You are strong. You deserve this." While she might not have had the money for new clothes, she knew that confidence came from within. Her determination fueled her as much as any new outfit could. As she put on a pair of modest shoes, another second-hand find, they reminded her of all the long hours she had spent working in diners and offices juggling various jobs. Each step in these shoes symbolized resilience. They brought memories of late nights hustling and early mornings filled with challenges. There was no doubt that they had given her strength to carry herself proudly throughout each day. Before heading out, Lisa took a moment to survey her little apartment filled with family photos and handwritten artwork by her kids. These reminders grounded her, filling her heart with love and gratitude. She thought about how this job could bring them security, a place where dreams weren't simply distant desires but achievable goals. Finally stepping outside, Lisa was met with the brisk air that nipped at her cheeks. The journey to the corporate office required multiple bus transfers across town. She cherished every minute as potential pulsated through her veins. As she sat on the bus surrounded by strangers lost in their realms, anticipation danced in her stomach like butterflies preparing for flight. Upon reaching the towering building, its facade gleamed against an azure sky, reflecting brilliance at every angle. A mixture of awe and nerves started to settle over Lisa as she approached the entrance, where sleek glass doors framed an impressive lobby that felt entirely foreign yet enticingly beautiful. Walking into the lobby felt surreal. High ceilings echoed as footsteps rang like music in an empty hall yet teemed with potential at every corner. The unmistakable air of professionalism surrounded her, sending jolts of adrenaline coursing through her body while heightening both excitement and apprehension. Taking a deep breath, Lisa approached the front desk, where an immaculately dressed receptionist glanced up from behind polished counters. The receptionist's sharp gaze went over Lisa briefly before returning to papers before her, without a hint of acknowledgement for the courage it took for Lisa just to arrive there. After signing in and waiting anxiously among sleek leather chairs occupied by others dressed impeccably, and who undoubtedly exuded confidence, Lisa felt herself shrink back for just a moment under scrutiny's weight despite wearing determination like armor around herself. As minutes ticked away slowly in uncomfortable silence, Lisa mentally prepared herself for whatever questions might come during the interview, hoping those assessing would see beyond surface appearances and recognize hardworking spirit shining brightly from within. She recalled preparing answers about ways she'd contribute positively to their team while balancing motherhood's demands alongside ambitions that reached far beyond merely landing middle-class stability. the kind intended to foster growth for generations yet born into this unpredictable world. The space around continued shifting as anticipation crackled, though recognition seemed fleeting against polished surfaces. Last moments before everything could change dramatically flashed back before reality settled in on all too quickly. The hopes built high now threatened by unforeseen hurdles lurking within everyday biases, clouding perspectives molded long before their own declarations began taking shape in unison. In this moment, it didn't matter what others thought. Rather, what counted most is holding tightly onto dreams shaped out of love and perseverance, woven delicately together, awaiting fruition amidst challenges, daring them forward every step taken each day, ignited newfound commitments surging relentlessly, within them all having leapt straight toward greatness, redefined through unwavering resolve, refusing defeat somewhere beneath layers bound, continuously keeping faith alive, illuminated brightly. Within aspirations rising gracefully amid uncertainty, built from courage burning deep inside, brighter than stars overhead, shimmering high above, guiding them down paths uncharted, unveiling limitless possibilities ahead, waiting patiently beneath shadows cast prior, shedding light on futures waiting yet own ready, unfolding soon enough, getting closer, drawing nearer day by day, paving ways despite obstacles ahead, unfolding hope, evermore transforming hearts, getting ready, reaching destinies meant destined, written outright boldly ahead, ready, unveiled, awaiting discovery. One courageous choice, igniting change, brightly shimmering hopes, chasing dreams freer, finally risen, forever unfurling from clouds aside, lifting skies brighter, bold, courageous hands stretched, ever so close, near, embracing vacant spaces. Once filled dreams soaring high, reaching toward destinations. In this moment, it didn't matter what others thought. Rather, what counted most is holding tightly onto dreams shaped out of love and perseverance, woven delicately together, awaiting fruition amidst challenges, daring them forward every step taken each day, ignited newfound commitments surging relentlessly, within them all having leapt straight toward greatness, redefined through unwavering resolve, refusing defeat somewhere beneath layers bound, continuously keeping faith alive, illuminated brightly. Within aspirations rising gracefully amid uncertainty, built from courage burning deep inside, brighter than stars overhead, shimmering high above, guiding them down paths uncharted, unveiling limitless possibilities ahead, waiting patiently beneath shadows cast prior, shedding light on futures waiting yet own ready, unfolding soon enough, getting closer, drawing nearer day by day, paving ways despite obstacles ahead, unfolding hope, evermore transforming hearts, getting ready, reaching destinies meant destined, written outright boldly ahead, ready, unveiled, awaiting discovery. One courageous choice, igniting change, brightly shimmering hopes, chasing dreams freer, finally risen, forever unfurling from clouds aside, lifting skies brighter, bold, courageous hands stretched, ever so close, near, embracing vacant spaces. Once filled dreams soaring high, reaching toward destinations. Today marked more than just another interview. It represented genuine aspiration coursing forth, battling history unrecognized, yearning tirelessly, seeking acceptance, breaking boundaries, redefining standards, ever so close. The moment Lisa stepped into the corporate office, she was struck by the sheer contrast of her surroundings. The lobby was a spectacle of modern design. Towering ceilings adorned with shimmering chandeliers cascaded down like glistening waterfalls, while polished marble floors reflected the busy movement of elegant people rushing by. It was everything she had imagined and more. An environment filled with ambition and success, yet it felt alien to her. Dressed in her carefully chosen second-hand clothes, Lisa felt a wave of self-consciousness wash over her. While her blouse was a once-loved piece with soft floral patterns, it paled in comparison to the tailored suits and high-fashion attire worn by those around her. She could see the reception desk made of glass and chrome, staffed by a woman whose perfectly coiffed hair and impeccably pressed attire spoke volumes about her place in this world. The receptionist seemed almost like a gatekeeper, standing in stark contrast to Lisa's humble appearance. As she walked further into the lobby, Lisa couldn't help but notice how magnificent everything looked. The walls were adorned with abstract art that hinted at wealth and sophistication, while sleek furniture offered comfort that felt foreign to her experiences. The soft murmur of conversations buzzed around her, filled with business terms Lisa only partially understood. She tried to remind herself why she was here. This job interview could change everything for her family, lifting them out of their current struggles. However, as she stood among the crowd of polished professionals waiting for their interviews or meetings, a feeling of insignificance crept in. Lisa glanced at herself in one of the reflective surfaces around her. She felt small compared to the towering figures who moved confidently through the space. Each perfectly shined shoe seemed to announce success as it clicked against the marble floor, while her modest shoes felt like whispers of hope carrying stories of late nights and early mornings juggling jobs to make ends meet. Lisa took a deep breath, trying to shake off the nervous energy that began to build as she waited near a cluster of leather chairs. She could hear snippets of conversations filled with jargon regarding quarterly reports and growth strategies, language that felt entirely foreign to her. For someone who had spent most nights in diners or cleaning offices, this was an entirely different realm. Her heart raced as she approached the front desk where the receptionist sat looking busy. Meeting the sharp gaze of this pristine professional sent another wave of insecurity through Lisa. The receptionist's cool demeanor did little to reassure her. Instead, it heightened her nervousness. As she stood there waiting for recognition, all eyes seemed to pivot towards her, amplifying everything that made her feel different in this environment. Her choice of clothing, her life experience, and even her presence at that moment. "Name?" the receptionist asked curtly without looking up from her work once again. It felt like another barrier to cross, something more than just sharing personal details. It was about fighting against an invisible judgment weighing heavily on Lisa's heart. "Lisa," she replied softly as she signed in for her interview. With each stroke of the pen against paper, there were not just letters formed. There were hopes inscribed about better tomorrows brimming full with possibilities waiting nearby beyond these polished walls. Taking a seat among others who appeared far more qualified, Lisa tried to gather strength from within herself. She glanced around at those seated near her. Men and women dressed impeccably in crisp suits who exuded confidence and ease. They flipped through power portfolios and scrolled through tablets without a hint of doubt reflected anywhere across their faces. After what felt like an eternity filled with stillness broken only by the clock ticking overhead, she reminded herself what had brought her here. Dreams sewn together through resilience despite setbacks faced along life's journey so far. That path forged amidst chaos led directly toward forging brighter futures beautifully crafted through determination. Every step taken towards achieving aspirations encompassed softly held within hearts, nurtured, tenderly nourished, persisted bravely. Finally called for her turn into the interview room. A sanctuary accompanied furthering firm ambitions showcased. It almost felt surreal approaching those walls lined expansively offering opportunity shaded brightly emerging illuminating hopes passionately yearning transforming lives forever intertwined giving birth emboldened realities awaiting adventuring forward encountering uncharted territories. Taking one last glance around the stunning lobby enveloped round encased within complexities shifting chance meeting spirits rendered bright ready positioning remarkable journeys felt achieved surely resonated promise echoed boldly forevermore pursuing unexplored quests fulfilling fate's touchstone gallantly igniting footsteps continuing travels flowing directed course wishing upon stars igniting grand adventures awaiting discovery. Lisa straightened herself one last time, readying emerging entering alongside searching shimmering paths previously entwined designed determined breathing fresh beginnings intertwining discoveries destined yet unknown illuminating seamlessly guiding lives transformed boldly forging legacy placed where mere dreams once lived brightly envisioned amidst infinite horizons beckoning alluring reaching toward their fullest forms becoming liberated. Reigniting presence forever glowing brilliantly. As Lisa stood in the bustling lobby, she felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. She was about to take a significant step toward a better future for her children, but the opulence surrounding her was daunting. The polished marble floors gleamed under the bright lights, and the air was filled with the soft hum of conversations among well-dressed applicants. It was clear that this corporate office was a world of its own, where appearance often dictated perception. And then there was the receptionist. She sat behind a sleek glass desk, her posture straight and her expression one of practiced indifference. With perfectly styled hair cascading over her shoulders and a tailored suit hugging her figure flawlessly, the receptionist seemed to embody everything Lisa felt she was not. Her manicured nails tapped rhythmically against the keyboard as she glanced up at each new arrival, assessing them with a critical eye. When it was finally Lisa's turn to approach the desk, she took a deep breath to steady herself. "Good morning," she said, attempting to infuse warmth into her voice despite her nerves bubbling just beneath the surface. The receptionist looked up briefly, then immediately returned her attention to the screen in front of her. "Name?" she asked tersely, without any hint of friendliness in her tone. "Lisa," she replied, hoping for even a flicker of acknowledgement. As Lisa stood there, she felt the receptionist's gaze drift over her attire. The soft floral blouse that had once belonged to someone else, the dark trousers that had seen many days of hard work. In that moment, it felt like an unspoken judgment hung in the air between them. After typing Lisa's name on the keyboard, the receptionist's expression shifted. There was no warmth in her next words. Instead, they came out flat and dismissive. "I'm sorry, but the position is no longer available." "What do you mean?" Lisa asked, confusion and desperation rising in her voice. "I received an email confirming my interview today. Is there someone else I can talk to about this?" She couldn't believe how quickly hope had turned into despair. The receptionist barely looked up as she repeated herself with an air of finality. "It's not available. You should leave now." Her cold demeanor made it clear that there would be no second chances or explanations offered. Lisa's heart raced as she felt panic begin to set in. All around her, individuals dressed in sharp suits continued their conversations with ease, seemingly oblivious to her predicament. This was supposed to be a moment where ambition soared and dreams were realized. Yet here she stood at the brink of rejection, standing apart from them simply because of what she wore. Without any warning, 2 security guards approached. The receptionist gestured towards Lisa with an indifferent wave of her hand. "Please escort her out," she instructed, as if dismissing an unwanted guest. Lisa's feelings of humiliation surged as they moved toward her. "Wait, please just give me a moment," she pleaded, but it fell on deaf ears. The guards did not respond. Their expressions were blank and professional as they guided her toward the exit. As she walked through the lobby once more, this time under escort, the laughter from several onlookers echoed painfully in her ears. Their whispers cut through her like knives. It was as if they were mocking not only her appearance but also her dreams and aspirations that had evaporated right before her eyes. Once outside the building, fresh air hit Lisa like a cool wave breaking over hot sand. It didn't ease the burning embarrassment welling inside her chest. Tears threatened to spill down her cheeks as she stepped away from the towering corporate structure that represented everything she desired yet felt utterly excluded from. Feeling defeated, Lisa leaned against a nearby wall for support as reality settled heavy on her shoulders. She had fought so hard for a chance at something more, a chance to create opportunities for herself and her children, but it all seemed futile now against invisible barriers that stood firm against people like her. In those moments outside after being hastily dismissed, feelings of inadequacy washed over Lisa like waves crashing relentlessly upon shore, each one reminding her how unfairly life could treat those who were determined yet wore their struggles openly without shame. Despite these setbacks laced with hurtful judgments lingering behind smiles reflected amid polished surfaces looming above teetering hopes still yearning for acceptance. With every ounce of strength she possessed, Lisa wiped away any tears threatening to betray how deeply this rejection stung within. She steadied herself against uncertainty, asserting once more courage birthed from resilience felt broken yet unyielding. Today may have taken away one opportunity, but it could not crush every dream ignited long before this moment spent upon fragile foundations woven tightly together promising brighter tomorrows awaiting beyond thresholds once shadowed. As she walked away from that corporate office building, a reminder of everything that divided them, Lisa vowed to rise above this setback. While others held power handed down through privilege perceived against grace alone could only build barriers ever so high would never deter nor define who would ultimately achieve lasting legacies long treasured. She would fight onward with fervor, carrying hope blooming within steadfast hearts, seeking paths ahead brighter, still leading toward destiny written forward where realities awaited rebirth anew, unfolding forevermore immensely. As Lisa stood there, her heart racing and emotions swirling, the reality of her situation began to sink in. The receptionist's dismissive words echoed in her mind, amplifying the feeling of humiliation that started to wash over her. Just moments ago, she had walked into this imposing corporate environment with hope and determination. Now, she was being escorted out, as if she were a disruption rather than a candidate for a promising future. 2 security guards approached her with an air of professionalism that felt cold and unforgiving. They didn't speak as they gently but firmly guided her toward the exit, their presence adding to the weight of her embarrassment. Lisa glanced around the lobby one last time, desperate for a sign of understanding or compassion from anyone nearby. Instead, she was met with curious eyes and faint whispers from those who had been waiting for their own interviews. A group of well-dressed applicants stood off to one side, their polished attire starkly contrasting with Lisa's second-hand clothes. She could feel their gazes boring into her, and the laughter that erupted from them felt like daggers stabbing at her already fragile spirit. It was as if they found amusement in her misfortune, a momentary spectacle meant to entertain them while they awaited their own turns to shine. "Did you see that?" one young man whispered to another, his voice dripping with mockery. "I can't believe she thought she would fit in here." Laughter followed his comment, a sharp sound that cut through the air and made Lisa's cheeks burn with shame. With each step towards the exit, it felt as if every ounce of dignity was stripped away from her. She fought back tears, not wanting to give anyone the satisfaction of seeing how deeply this experience affected her. Her pulse quickened as more laughter followed her out. It was like a cruel soundtrack to her downfall. Reminders that judgment often comes swiftly and without mercy based solely on appearances. Once outside the building, fresh air hit Lisa's face like a wave crashing against the shore. It offered little relief from the suffocating weight of embarrassment still clinging to her heart. She leaned against a cold wall for support, desperately trying to regain composure while processing what had just happened. The towering structure behind her loomed like a giant shadow. It felt both intimidating and unwelcoming now. Tears began to fall as frustration mixed with sadness coursed through her veins. How could a place filled with such promise turn so quickly into a source of pain? It was disheartening to think about how hard she had worked for this opportunity, only to be judged unfairly by someone who didn't even know her story or sacrifices made along this journey. In that moment of solitude outside the building, Lisa allowed herself to feel everything: the hurt, the anger, and even the disappointment swirling within. Each emotion threatened to pull her under like heavy stones dragging down someone struggling against turbulent waters. But beneath it all lay an ember of resilience ignited by love for her children and dreams she refused to abandon. As she wiped away tears that fell unchecked down her cheeks, Lisa took several deep breaths, steadying herself against uncertainty lingering heavily above, wrapped tightly around hope's lingering frail flickers, desperately seeking refuge. Today may have been marked by rejection, but it wasn't the end. Gathering strength from deep within, she recalled late nights spent working multiple jobs fueled solely by determination, aiming toward creating brighter futures for those cherished souls waiting back home, believing unrelentingly. This setback wouldn't define who she was. Instead, it would mold and shape something far greater, an unyielding spirit rising despite adversity faced head-on. Lisa straightened herself up, wiping remnants left behind, breathing steadied now, reflecting newfound courage. While there would be no immediate resolution present, standing up against harsh realities weighed heavy upon hearts burdened by judgment. She vowed never again allow another's perception dictate worthiness, founded strong upon unapologetic authenticity defining journeys taken. With resolve flickering alive amid shadows cast, previously unseen illuminated purpose, reigniting aspirations, burning brightly guiding forward paths, yet explored seeking opportunities, awaiting rediscovery shimmering brilliantly ahead. Each step taken from here onward would serve as testament built upon resilience, threading lives, woven together boundlessly, soaring high, claiming rightful places, where dreams dance joyfully, seeking futures fulfilled, lovingly cherished. As she turned away from the corporate office building, a place that once seemed so promising but now represented rejection, Lisa walked boldly into an uncertain world brimming with possibilities, yet undiscovered, undeterred, ready, embracing every next chapter unfolding ahead, forging legacies, etched deeply amidst struggles defined, unfolding beautifully, awaiting discovery, waiting beyond horizons, beckoning ever bright, inviting endlessly toward blossoming destinies forevermore. As Lisa stepped out of the corporate office, the laughter and whispers fading behind her, another story was unfolding within the same building. In a lavish corner office on the top floor, Peter, the CEO of the company, sat at his polished mahogany desk, surrounded by the symbols of success he had worked hard to achieve. Yet, despite the accolades and wealth accumulated over years, there was a deep-rooted understanding and empathy in his heart that set him apart from many in his position. Peter had not always inhabited this world of luxury. He grew up in a struggling neighborhood where every day presented a new challenge. His family lived paycheck to paycheck, often worrying about how to keep food on the table or pay the rent. Clothes were hand-me-downs from older siblings or generous neighbors, just like Lisa's second-hand blouse. He remembered feeling the sting of judgment when people looked at him and his family with disdain for their appearance, unaware of the hard work and resilience that lay beneath the surface. Despite these hardships, Peter learned invaluable lessons from his upbringing. He understood that true worth could not be measured by outward appearances. It was found in grit, determination, and character. While attending school, he worked multiple jobs to help support his family and went on to earn a scholarship to a prestigious university. Those experiences shaped him into the compassionate leader he aspired to be, a leader who believed in giving opportunities to those who fought against the odds. On that fateful day, as Peter sat reviewing quarterly reports and preparing for meetings that felt increasingly repetitive and mundane, a video caught his attention. One of his employees had shared footage of Lisa's painful dismissal caught on camera, the moment she was escorted out while others laughed at her expense. As he hit play, his stomach twisted in knots as he watched her face filled with confusion and helplessness. Outrage gripped him as he witnessed how quickly judgment had been passed based solely on how she looked. Peter's heart ached for Lisa. He saw bits of himself reflected in her struggle. He could almost hear echoes of his own childhood when he felt similar disdain from those who did not understand his journey. "That's not how we do things here," Peter muttered under his breath as he slammed his hand on the desk. The injustice struck him deeply, igniting a fire within, a need to change how things were done in his company and beyond. This was not just another case of someone unqualified. This was a powerful reminder that so many talented individuals remained unseen due to superficial judgments about their appearances. Without hesitation, Peter canceled every meeting on his calendar that day. His determination surged as he resolved to track Lisa down personally. He couldn't bear the thought of letting her leave without knowing how valued she truly was. Not just as an applicant, but as a person with dreams and aspirations worthy of fulfillment. Driven by urgency, he left his office and made his way through the building, a stark contrast to the polished executives who moved smoothly around him. Each step took him closer to righting an unforgivable wrong, one he wished he could have shielded her from completely. When Peter found Lisa outside the building, leaning against a cold wall and struggling with tears, something shifted within him. It wasn't just about offering her a job. It was about recognizing her spirit and resilience in a world that often overlooked individuals like her. "Lisa," he called out, rushing toward her with purpose. Surprised, Lisa turned around, and recognition flickered in her eyes as she saw someone who held power coming towards her. Not just any power, but someone who could change lives with kindness and understanding. "I'm so sorry for what just happened," Peter said sincerely, catching his breath as he approached her. "You deserve better than that treatment." In this moment, all pretense faded away. It wasn't about titles or status, but about humanity connecting with vulnerability. Lisa's surprise quickly morphed into confusion as she processed this unexpected encounter. "Who are you?" she managed to ask through lingering tears. "I'm Peter." He introduced himself with earnestness. "I'm the CEO of this company. I saw what happened. I want to offer you not just an opportunity for employment, but also a place on our new equity board. We are committed to ending discrimination in hiring practices." For a moment, everything froze around them, the bustling city sounds fading into background noise, as hope sparked within Lisa's heart once more. This was not what she had expected when she walked into the corporate office earlier that day. It felt like an unveiling of destiny, shifting paths swiftly toward brighter horizons yet undiscovered. "Really?" she whispered in disbelief. "Yes," Peter affirmed with conviction. "Your story matters to me. I believe in hard work and dedication above all else, values shaped by my own upbringing, and I see that spirit in you." As they stood there together amidst uncertainty blooming beautifully around them, promising endless possibilities waiting ahead, two lives intertwined against harsh realities, woven tightly through shared experiences, forever discovering renewed chances finally embraced. As the laughter and whispers faded away from Lisa's ears, another moment was unfolding just a few floors above her. In a modest office space filled with framed photographs and personal mementos, Sarah, a junior analyst who had been working at the company for a couple of years, sat at her desk. She had always prided herself on being observant and empathetic, especially towards those who faced challenges similar to what she had encountered in her own life. Sarah happened to be in the lobby when Lisa arrived for her interview and witnessed the entire unfortunate encounter unfold before her eyes. The dismissal, the laughter, and the callousness of the receptionist had struck a chord deep within her. It reminded her of her own experiences, times when she felt dismissed or overlooked because of how she looked or the circumstances she came from. Recognizing that Lisa's struggles mirrored her own past, Sarah felt compelled to take action. As Lisa was escorted out by security, Sarah instinctively reached for her phone. She discreetly recorded the last moments of Lisa's experience, the confusion etched on her face, the humiliation reflected in her posture, and the laughter of others creating a painful backdrop. For Sarah, capturing this moment was about more than just recording an event. It was about documenting an injustice that needed to be addressed. Later that evening, as Sarah reviewed the footage on her phone, anger surged within her. Each frame played like a powerful reminder that there were still so many people facing unfair treatment based solely on appearances. She felt a deep responsibility to share this with someone who could make a difference, not just for Lisa but for others who might find themselves in similar situations. With resolve in her heart, Sarah sent the video clip to Peter's assistant along with a message explaining what happened. She knew Peter had always championed values of inclusivity and equity. If anyone would understand the urgency of the situation, it would be him. The following morning, as Peter settled into his office with plans for the day laid out before him, meetings stacked one after another, he received Sarah's email. Intrigued, he opened the file and pressed play. Within seconds, his heart sank as he watched the footage unfold. Emotions twisted within him as he took in Lisa's emotional turmoil. Peter leaned back in his chair, grappling with a rising tide of outrage as he replayed each moment in his mind. He could see how quick judgment dismissed Lisa based purely on her appearance, a cruel reminder of how superficial perceptions can deny someone their worth. It ignited something fierce within him, a commitment to ensuring such incidents would not go unchallenged under his watch. "That's not how we do things here," he muttered under his breath as he slammed his hand on his desk, feeling anger pulse through him like electricity. How could anyone treat another human being this way? He remembered sitting in similar situations during his own tumultuous youth when judgment threatened to overshadow hard work and determination. Without hesitation, Peter canceled every meeting scheduled for that day. He needed to make things right, not just for Lisa but for all those who were mistreated like her due to biases based on appearances or backgrounds. The injustice was glaringly apparent. It fueled an unwavering determination within him to create change. Peter rose from his desk and strode purposefully through the halls of the office. His co-workers glanced up curiously as he passed. They were used to seeing him composed and focused on business matters only, but today was different. Today was about addressing something deeper than profits or productivity. It was about humanity. Navigating through rooms filled with polished executives who spoke in jargon-filled conversations and laughter over coffee breaks seemed trivial now compared to what lay ahead, what needed to be done. As he approached the lobby where Lisa had faced such humiliation just hours earlier, adrenaline coursed through him. He spotted Sarah standing near her desk filled with concern etched across her features. "Where is she?" he asked urgently. "She left a little while ago," Sarah replied anxiously before adding quickly. "But I think she might still be nearby. Let's go find her." Peter instructed determinedly without hesitation. He couldn't let this opportunity slip by without showing Lisa just how valued she truly was. Not merely as an applicant, but as an individual deserving respect and encouragement. Together they rushed outside in search of Lisa, a quest not only driven by guilt, but fueled by hope blossoming ever brightly ahead. Each step carried them closer to making amends. Each heartbeat resonated louder against profound injustices woven tightly throughout lives unheard, marred only through silence, shunned, unrecognized amid fleeting moments, diminished far beyond opportunities, continually lost. Peter knew that meeting Lisa again would mean presenting not just an offer but also an invitation into something much greater than simple employment. A pledge toward dismantling discrimination rooted deeply entrenched, empowering those overlooked, ensuring futures brightened, richly nurtured, embracing dreams woven undeniably into fabric lived endlessly. Peter closed his laptop with a flourish, the glare of the screen fading as he leaned back in his chair. The footage of Lisa's dismissal played over and over in his mind, replaying her confusion and pain like an unwelcome echo. He could hardly believe what he had just witnessed. In that moment, he felt the weight of responsibility settle upon his shoulders. He would not stand idly by while such injustices occurred under his watch. Determined to act, Peter stood up and straightened his suit jacket, taking a deep breath as he prepared to address the inequities that had festered in his organization. The smooth veneer of corporate life was often accompanied by a troubling undercurrent of bias that led to missed opportunities for individuals who deserved better. His own history had taught him that true potential is seldom visible on the surface. It lies within character, resilience, and hard work. With a surge of resolve, he strode to the door, ready to cancel all meetings. His assistant, Jenna, looked up in surprise as he entered the main office space. "Peter, are you okay? You look. I need you to cancel my entire day," he interrupted, his voice firm but tinged with urgency. "Every meeting, everything on my schedule." Jenna blinked in confusion but quickly nodded, sensing the gravity of his tone. "Of course, right away." She began typing furiously on her keyboard. As Peter walked away from her desk, a sense of determination coursed through him. He moved through the halls of the office building, past colleagues who glanced up in bewilderment. The usual chatter faded into silence as they witnessed their CEO's unusual demeanor. Peter's mind was set on one goal: to ensure that Lisa knew her worth and that such treatment would not be tolerated. He took the elevator down to the lobby where Lisa had faced ridicule. Each floor felt like an eternity as anxiety blended with anticipation in his stomach. He thought of how that moment must have felt for her, the humiliation she endured simply because she didn't fit a narrow mold defined by superficial expectations. As the doors opened with a soft ding, Peter stepped out into the lobby bustling with activity. The scene was stark against the backdrop of Lisa's recent experience. Busy professionals chatting animatedly, their laughter ringing out like music. But Peter saw past the polished exteriors. He saw the potential for change. "Where is she?" he asked Sarah urgently when he spotted her in the crowd. Her eyes widened as she recognized his sincerity and determination. "She left a little while ago," Sarah replied, frowning slightly. "But I believe she might still be nearby." There was concern etched on her face, knowing how important this encounter was. "Let's go find her," Peter insisted, urgency propelling his every step. He could not let this moment slip away. It was crucial for both Lisa and the principles he wanted to uphold within his company. Together they rushed outside into the bustling streets, scanning for any sign of Lisa amidst the throng of people hurrying about their day. The world felt vibrant yet daunting as Peter reflected on how easily someone could become lost in such a busy cityscape. Just like Lisa had felt lost in that corporate environment filled with judgment and scorn. As they turned a corner onto a quieter street, Peter's heart sank at the thought that he might miss her entirely. But just then, he spotted Lisa standing alone against a wall, her expression distant and forlorn as she wiped her tears away, an image that struck him profoundly.
"Lisa!"
Peter called out, rushing toward her with renewed hope ignited within him. Her head jerked up in surprise as recognition crossed her features. This time it wasn't mockery or derision she faced. It was someone who genuinely cared. "Who are you?" she managed to ask through lingering tears. "I'm Peter." He introduced himself earnestly, extending a hand toward her. "I'm the CEO of this company. I saw what happened earlier, and I want to apologize sincerely." The sincerity in his voice caught Lisa off guard. It was so different from what she had experienced moments before. What do you mean?" she stammered, still grappling with confusion amidst a whirlwind of emotions. "I want to offer you not just a position with us but also a place on our new equity board," he stated firmly. "We are committed to addressing discrimination and ensuring everyone has an equal opportunity." no matter their background. Stunned silence fell between them as hope flickered anew within Lisa's heart. It felt surreal to be seen, to be valued for more than just appearance but for everything she embodied. Determination, resilience, and dreams worth pursuing. Really? She whispered incredulously. Yes, Peter affirmed with conviction. Your story matters deeply to me because I understand what it feels like to struggle against biases that overlook true potential. As they stood there together amidst uncertainty blooming beautifully around them, a pledge towards dismantling discrimination woven tightly into lives yet unseen. Something profound sparked between them, bridging experiences shared through struggles born along paths ever brightened by hope. As Peter rushed out of the building, his heart raced with purpose. He had witnessed the injustice Lisa faced, and he was determined to rectify it. The bustling streets of the city felt alive around him, yet all Peter could focus on was finding Lisa. He knew that time was of the essence. He didn't want her to leave without understanding how much she was valued and appreciated. With each step, he scanned the crowd for any sign of her. He recalled how she had stood in the lobby, her spirit dampened by judgment and laughter. The image of her confusion and hurt etched itself into his mind, motivating him further as he moved through throngs of professionals rushing about their daily business. Where could she have gone? He muttered under his breath, frustration beginning to seep in as he navigated past busy coffee shops and lively pedestrians. He spotted a group of women chatting animatedly outside a boutique and approached them, hoping they might have seen her. "Excuse me," he began, interrupting their conversation. "Have you seen a woman in her 30s with dark hair? She was just here for an interview." The women exchanged glances before one of them shook her head. "Sorry, I haven't seen anyone like that." Peter thanked them anyway and continued down the street. With each passing moment, he felt the urgency swell within him. He needed to connect with Lisa not only to make amends, but also to empower her after such a degrading experience. Drawing from his own past struggles, Peter had learned that empowerment comes from connection and understanding. His own journey had been marked by moments where kindness had made all the difference when faced with adversity. This fueled his desire to do right by Lisa. As he reached a quieter side street lined with trees swaying gently in the breeze, Peter finally spotted her leaning against a wall outside a small cafe. Her shoulders were slumped slightly, reflecting a sense of defeat that struck him hard in the chest. She looked up as he approached. Surprise flickered across her face amidst lingering traces of distress. "Lisa!" he called out breathlessly, quickening his pace to reach her side. "Who are you?" she asked cautiously, wiping her cheeks where tears had fallen moments before. "I'm Peter." He introduced himself again, extending a hand toward her sincerely. "I'm the CEO of this company." He watched as recognition dawned in her eyes. It was evident that she had not expected someone like him to come looking for her after what had just happened. "I saw what occurred earlier," Peter continued earnestly, "and I want to apologize for how you were treated." Lisa blinked back more tears as she processed his words. It felt surreal hearing someone so high up acknowledge her pain and offer compassion instead of mockery. I don't understand," she stammered, struggling with emotions still swirling through her mind like storm clouds. "Why are you here?" "I want to make things right," Peter replied with conviction flooding his voice. "You deserve better than what you experienced today. A chance to show your worth without being judged solely based on appearance." In that moment, something shifted between them. A connection born from shared struggles against unfairness echoed deeply within their histories. "I'm offering you not only a position with us but also a seat on our new equity board," Peter stated firmly, emphasizing every word imbued with meaning and intention behind them. Lisa's eyes widened in disbelief as hope flickered anew within her heart. This wasn't just about a job. It was an opportunity to be part of something greater aimed at dismantling discrimination rooted deeply within hiring practices across industries. "Really?" she whispered incredulously. "Yes," Peter affirmed strongly once more, looking steadily into her eyes filled now with cautious optimism shimmering brightly. "Your story matters because I understand firsthand what it feels like when biases overshadow true potential." As they stood there together amid uncertainty blooming beautifully around them, a pledge towards empowering those overlooked woven tightly into lives yet unseen. Something profound sparked between them, bridging experiences shared through struggles born along paths illuminated ever brightly by hope. Peter knew that this encounter wouldn't just change Lisa's life. It would ripple outward, creating an impact capable of transforming many others who faced similar trials each day, fighting against judgment-clouded perceptions, dulling dreams unfulfilled. This moment was not merely about hiring. It was about recognizing value inherent within every individual, waiting patiently for opportunities deserving acknowledgement. With renewed resolve coursing through him, both invigorating excitement spread throughout. Peter finally felt certain they would forge pathways brighten together, opening wide toward shared futures, blossoming endlessly, filled, joyfully embracing destinies, empowered, richly nurtured, ever forward into tomorrow, awaiting discovery, shimmering, ever brightly awaited. As Peter stood before Lisa, the weight of the moment hung in the air between them like a fragile thread ready to snap. Her eyes, still glistening with tears from earlier humiliation, reflected confusion and hope intertwined. This was not the encounter she had anticipated when she first stepped into the corporate office that day. The harsh laughter and judgment she had faced felt distant now, replaced by a warmth radiating from Peter's sincere demeanor. "I want to make things right," he began, his voice steady and filled with purpose. "You deserve better than what happened today. It's time to recognize your true worth, beyond appearances." Lisa listened intently as he continued, each word resonating deeply within her heart. "I'm offering you not just a position with us, but also a seat on our new equity board. This board is dedicated to promoting fairness and diversity in hiring practices across our company and beyond." The profound nature of his offer took a moment to sink in. Lisa's breath caught as she processed his words, realizing this wasn't merely about securing a job. It was an invitation to be part of something greater, something that aimed to dismantle discrimination and empower those who often went unseen. "Really?" she whispered, the incredulity in her voice betraying her disbelief. "Yes," Peter affirmed strongly, meeting her gaze with unwavering conviction. "Your story matters deeply to me because I understand what it feels like when biases overshadow true potential. I've been there myself." In that instant, everything around them faded into the background. The bustling city streets, the noise of pedestrians rushing past, until it was just Peter and Lisa standing at a pivotal crossroads. A connection forged through their shared understanding of hardship began to blossom between them. "I grew up in poverty," Peter continued earnestly. "I know firsthand how judgments based on appearance can overshadow hard work and determination. I refuse to let that happen here." Lisa felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. It was a feeling she had nearly forgotten amidst the despair of rejection earlier that day. This wasn't just about her. It was about creating opportunities for others who faced similar struggles in silence. The chance to advocate for change resonated deeply within her. "I want you to join us," Peter added, his tone infused with warmth and sincerity. "We need voices like yours on this board, people who have lived these experiences and can drive real change." Tears brimmed in Lisa's eyes again, but this time they were tears of gratitude rather than pain. She had come so far, facing judgment and derision, and now stood on the cusp of something transformative. Here was someone willing to listen and act beyond mere words. Someone who wanted to uplift instead of dismiss. "Thank you," Lisa finally managed to say, her voice trembling slightly as the enormity of his offer began to settle within her heart. An opportunity not only for herself but for countless others whose stories remained untold. Peter smiled gently at her response. He could see how much this meant not only to Lisa but how it could ripple outwards into their organization and beyond. "Together," he said confidently, "we can make sure no one else has to face what you did today." A sense of camaraderie blossomed between them as they stood under the bright sky. It marked the beginning of renewed aspirations fueled by determination built upon shared values ignited through personal journeys alike. Lisa's heart swelled with anticipation. Not just for herself but for all those waiting patiently on the sidelines, yearning for recognition. As they walked side by side down the street together, a powerful symbol connected through commitment towards forging paths leading forward toward empowerment. Peter felt invigorated knowing they would pave avenues brightened optimistically filled with promise-welcoming dreams that flourished endlessly. Each step taken echoed loudly not merely as footsteps upon pavement, but rather as declarations affirming dignity, acknowledged, openly weaving lives together toward futures strengthened, richly fostered, nurtured, lovingly embraced. From that moment onward, Lisa knew she would fight tirelessly alongside Peter, ensuring every individual deserving opportunities presented would find their place proudly amplified among those championing equity. In unity fortified together, they would rise against all odds, transforming perceptions along journeys long traversed, now revitalized, finally revealing uncharted territories, illuminated brightly awaiting discovery, boundless yet unveiled, forevermore ahead.